Wolf on the run. I scramble over to Ivan, and he gives me a look that says, "You're the best, Bob." "I thought you were a goner," I say, licking his banana goo off his chin. "Me too." Ivan seems a little dazed. His eyelashes are white with dust. "What happened anyway?" "Tornado." "Is Ruby okay? Kenyana, Julia, George?" "Haven't even seen Julia or George yet. Kiani's over here, carrying on." A paramedic holding a box of medical equipment approaches us nervously. "I've got this," calls a woman, recognize one of the park veterinarians. The paramedic looks very happy to step aside. The vet gently and firmly pushes me out of the way. "I'll be back," I tell Ivan. "Go, run to Kiani." I run to Kiani. "He's good. He's totally good." A look of joy in her eyes makes me want to give her the most affectionate nose nudge. Almost. From there, I join Ruby and Maya. "I was so scared, Bob," Ruby whispers. "Me too," I admit. "Me too. But he's fine. I promise." We watch a pair of otters dart past, being chased by a guy with a net. One of the firefighters who'd been clearing away the debris yells, "We're clear here! No sign of other victims!" Sarah closes her eyes and I can smell her relieved tears, while Maya listens to the on a walkie-talkie, trying to take stock of the damage of the park. Officer Williams' police radio hisses and cackles with new problems, new flooding, new dire predictions. "Copy that," he says into the radio. Even with the chaos and noise, I'm close enough to the radios to catch the tiny, tinny sound of the frantic barking. "We've got a unit reporting an animal shelter down the streets flooding," Officer Williams says. "Also, we've got a trailer park damage on 12th Street and down Oak and down Nelson Avenue, blocking traffic, and the big overturn near the fairground. And then, that's just for starters." Out of the corner of my eyes, I notice something airborne. It's graceful and bold, like a huge wingless bird. The crowd gasps. It's Chemo. He lands on the hood of Officer Williams' squad car. His eyes are glazed. His coat is wet and shimmering. We got a 1091 here," Officer Williams yells into his receiver. "Confirmed. Seems there's a wolf on top of my vehicle." Slowly, he reaches for the pistol on her hip. "Please advise." Shots fired. Several officers raise their guns. The tranquilizer dart guy takes aim too. "No, Mael, no guns!" Kimu blinks, eyes darting right and left, then leaps off the car with such grace and speed it's like he owns the wind. 2 shots ring out. Silence follows. "Was he hit?" someone asks. Maya closes her eyes. "I sure hope not." "I sure hope so," somebody says. As I watched the leap, I watched Kimu fly. I didn't know what to think. Part of me was like, "Go for it, dude." And the other part of me was thinking, it's a jungle out there. Situation. Officer Williams climbs onto a picnic table. Someone hands him a megaphone so she can be heard over the din. "Folks," she yells, "listen up. We've got a handful of animal control workers coming here, but several roads are already flooded out. And the weather, guys, it's saying Gus is going to take us his sweet time getting through. Meantime, park supervisors call in more help, only if the workers can get out safely." The unmistakable roar of a big cat rolls over us like a slow thunder. "Any more tranq guns?" Officer Williams asks the park director who just arrived. "There's 3 in reserve," she answers. "Nets?" "Oh, we have dozens of those." "Okay, then." Officer Williams' radio cackles. I can hear more shouting and more barking dogs. "The shelter's flooding," she says. "Yeah, that's happened before," the director says. "Usually just a foot or 2 of water." "Okay, public safety is where we start." Officer Williams wipes the rain from her forehead. "We need to get the word out that these animals are on the loose." Of course, says the director. We have protocols in place, but we need to be careful how we word this. People might overreact and might... Ma'am, a firefighter interrupts. I see a python in my backyard. I'm sure as heck gonna overreact. First things first, says Officer Williams. Triage is the main office. Check wreckage for any survivors, human or animal. Fan out with the trank guns and get the inventory of how many animals are on the loose. I wonder how it's possible that Officer Williams can seem so composed. The air reeks with fear from animals, birds, and people. And from me. And yet, she doesn't seem worried about it herself, just other people. Weird, the way some humans stick their necks out for others. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, does it? To you? Again, the cackle of the hiss of the barking. My ears perk for a minute. Was that a familiar voice? Maybe. Maybe somebody I know? Isn't the slammer? I'm going to the shelter at the elementary school, Sarah says. Her hands are trembling, but her voice is firm. To look for George and Julia, just in case. She strokes my head, and I'm happy to let her. I wonder if I should tag along with her and see if I can help out. Now that I know Ivan and Ruby are safe. Hiss, cackle, meow, bark. I hear it again. My eyes go on alert. My body goes rigid. No, it's impossible. Never. Some barks you never forget. One place. I know what I have to do. Despite the turmoil all around me, the noises and the smells and the fear and confused humans and the frantic animals, despite my worry about Julie and George, I know there's one place I need to be. A split second. I want to tell Ivan and Ruby, but Ivan is still being poked and prodded by the rhymes at the pet threat. Although, come to think of it, if he doesn't seem like much of a threat, in a movie, she'd be one of the good guys. To my annoyance, Sarah picks me up. I hate being picked up unless it's my idea. Then it's totally cool. Maya, she says, you let me know the first sign of George and Julia, okay? Promises, Maya. And then she places her hand on Sarah's shoulder. Humans always hit with this touching thing, although I kind of get it under these circumstances. You can't take Bob to the school shelter. They're not allowing any more pets, Maya points out. The animal shelter is flooding, it sounds like. Why don't you just leave him here? I'll put him in my office. He'll be safe. No way! Is this on my agenda? Sarah nods. Well, that's a good idea. Sarah starts to hand me over, but hesitates, and then she realizes Maya still has a meerkat wrapped around her neck. In a split second is all it takes, I escape. When you're Bob the Untamed and Undaunted.